Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go. In today's episode, it is Roggenrola Community Day. And let's go ahead and check for shinies real quick. Roggenrola's final form, Gigalith, is getting the exclusive Community Day move of Meteor Beam, which makes it an interesting rock type attacker. Not the best, but definitely gets it in like that top tier meta list. Like it's not as good as Terrakion, but better than Smackdown Tyranitar. Smackdown Tyranitar has been such a staple for the rock type attackers in raids for such a long time that whenever anything can even come close to it, or in this case, take over that spot, it makes it a good pick. And with so many flying type legendary Pokemon and other flying type Pokemon that you just might want to raid for, it makes it a good Pokemon to hunt for, as well as checking with Professor Willow, who's back to running community days. Glad you're here. There's something I could use your help with today. As you know, I've been away for a while. I've been thinking about how to shake off the doldrums, like a ton of bricks. Pokemon research specifically, I'd like to learn about Roggenrola. Roggenrola were first discovered 100 years ago in an earthquake fissure, but the dirt that makes up their bodies is even older. A Pokemon made of earth is just the thing to get me feeling grounded again, don't you think? Not that I need an excuse to study Pokemon. Could you unearth some Roggenrola for me, Joe? Alright, so no shinies in the first minute, but we do already have a shiny Roggenrola. Roggenrola is a very nice, like, purple shiny, but the evolved forms are so much better. We're going to be going through today and just kind of seeing those just brilliant blue shiny Gigalith is just so nice. We also have a 98% to 98% Roggenrolas to evolve today. Let's see if we can get the hundo, let's see if we can get anything really cool, and let's get to Roggenrola-ing. Alright, so we haven't done this in a while. It's the Pokemon Go Rainy Day exclusive. We got the camera, we got the umbrella, we got everything. Oh my god. Alright, so obviously we're not going to be playing right now because, things are wet and wild and nuts. So I'm gonna grab my car because I got the squad with me today. John and Josh, Mike couldn't make it, but we got some of the squad, and I am gonna get the car, and then we're gonna just drive safely from cluster to cluster, catch some Pokemon. I still don't have a shiny today. Thankfully, I already have 2 shinies. Oh, there goes my charger. It's getting wet, so I gotta cut this short. But I'll see you once I get my car. Back in the car. What's up? I was checking the entire time. Wet umbrella, rain, everything. Not one shiny Roggenrola right now. Crazy. Alright, so we are at the beginning of the next hour, and I still have not caught a shiny Roggenrola today. But we're going to go ahead and finish the next portion of the research. I was waiting for a shiny, but we don't have one of those. They do not exist today. So, part of the research is to power up a Pokemon 10 times. So what we're going to do is we're going to 50 max our Mega Aggron. 296 XLs, lucky, boom, save some Stardust there. So that is a 50 max Aggron, and we now get to move on with the next portion of the research, and maybe one of these 2 Roggenrola encounters will be the shiny. And it's just been sitting here for an hour. Not this one. But yeah, it's been absolutely nuts going a whole hour. And I'm getting some Chikorita PTSD right now. This is the new Chikorita, is Roggenrola. It's been a hot minute since I've went an entire hour in a community day with no shinies. star piece, and encounter with a non-shiny Roggenrola. Checks out. And then we'll go ahead check in with Professor Willow and see what the next portion of the research is, probably evolving a Pokemon, which I would normally evolve the shiny, but we haven't gotten our third shiny for the family. So, and here starts the rain again. Let's get a closer look at those Roggenrola. Did you notice hexagonal cavities on their bodies? Those are their ears. And deep inside is an energy core that makes Roggenrola slightly warm to the touch. But don't stick your hand inside the cavity. That's a surefire way to get on their bad side, and fast. I think putting your hand inside of anybody's cavity would be a bad thing. Is that from first-hand experience, you ask? Well, any researcher worth his salt has to take the occasional risk. That thumbs up was perfectly timed. You know, when Roggenrola evolve into Boldore and their energy is too great to be contained, they grow orange crystals on their body hard enough to smash diamonds. Doesn't that sound like a sight? Why don't you help Roggenrola evolve so you can see for yourself? Yeah, checks out. Catch 15, transfer 10, evolve 3, and we still don't have the shiny. Alright, we have our first shiny Roggenrola for the day. Let's go. This does bring us to a total of 3, but first one today, as I completely missed the ball. But make up for it with an excellent on the next one. This means we can finally evolve for the family. And also complete that part of the research, but we still have to catch more Roggenrolas and do other things. Let's freaking go. We got an IV check. Not fantastic, as we are in the middle of a huge cluster. Shiny and Roggenrolas, and let's go ahead and see if any of these are good IVs. No. So let's go ahead and just evolve the one that we got today and look at this beautiful shiny line, as it is one of the better, because Ponyta is still best shiny, and you can fight me on that. You can fight me on that, John.
Zigzagoon.
The lighting up of those crystals is absolutely amazing. This is actually one of the few Pokemon that if you trade it, it becomes a 0 cost, which is super cool, and definitely makes Roggenrola a great lucky trade or special trade option to save on candies. But let's go. Our first Gigalith as a shiny with Meteor Beam. That is amazing, and that effect of the crystals lighting up is super, super cool. Let's go. Alright, so we've gotten to the next part of the rock and roll portion of the research, and there's a nice cluster here. Boldore encounter. Very nice. We have gotten a few more shinies. It's just that with driving and everything, it's not exactly the easiest thing to film. Especially it's not like we're walking from thing to thing, so once you're done with the cluster, if one person is done, then it's kind of like, okay, waiting on you. And I don't want to be that person that people are waiting on. I mean, except right now. But there's a fat cluster here, so they have time. As a mysterious Pokemon appears, probably going to be a Roggenrola. Nice. And I'm using some Great Balls just to speed up the process here as we get to check in with Professor Willow, and then should only be one more after this. She's probably going to tell us about Gigalith now. Let's see if I'm right. Cracks the code, Professor Willow. Welcome back, you Boulder something. The crystal's amazing. If only I had some diamonds to put that whole smashing thing to proof. Well, while I can't conduct that particular experiment, I can still tell you more about Boldore. Their crystals are actually masses of energy. Just one crystal fragment could provide enough fuel for 100 dump trucks. Well, and another theory that we can't test ourselves, but if you help Boulder evolve, I'll tell you all about what they do with that power. Cool. And make three for both those, evolve one Boldore, and transfer 10 Pokemon. And then there is a nice cluster here. Alright, well, first of all, I guess we should say fins up. Congratulations, Dolphins. Fourth quarter comeback. And rock and roll. Let's go ahead and get the next portion of the research done. Pretty much the last little bit here. Yeah. There you have it, Joe. A gigalith of your own. Those crystals are even bigger now. When Gigalith's orange crystals absorb solar energy, it's magnified internally and fired from its mouth, and even capable of blowing away a mountain. Because of its hefty horsepower, Gigalith is a popular partner for construction workers. I'm sure you and Gigalith will get along great too, seeing as you're always out and about. At any rate, thanks for helping me with my research today. I'm feeling more like my old self already. Let's do this again soon. And we get some silver pineapps, XP, an encounter with Roggenrola, and an encounter with Gigalith. Roggenrola is not going to be a shiny, so we're going to check back in at the end of Community Day in 30 minutes for our final shiny count and see if we got any hundos, shundos, or nundos. Alright, so it is the end of Roggenrola Community Day, and let's go ahead and go into recent, and now let's go ahead and check out 4-star, nothing. I also checked out the zeros, so none of that, but shiny and age 0, we got 11 shiny Roggenrola today, which is super cool. I think one of them is a 3-star. Was it you? I want to say it was you. Yes, the very last one. So I'm going to go ahead and evolve this one just so I have the family. And, you know, it has 15 attack. You know, shiny with 15 attack. Nice. In other news, sadly, we were doing Kartana raids. The Hundo 2101, not weather boosted, popped up on my screen. I'm like, oh my god. Guys, we can't tap and go on this one. I need to settle down. 17 balls. Not one hit 2 shakes. Ran away from me. I am just absolutely devastated right now. It is crazy. And the other 2 also ran. So I'm 0 for 3. Actually 0 for 4, because I missed one this morning. 0 for 4 on my last Kartana raids, after going 23 for 23. So, I'm a little bummed, but shiny Roggenrola family, amazing. I evolved both my 98 into Gigaliths with Meteor Beam. At level 40, it becomes the number 4, number 4? Number 5. It's like in that 4 to 6 at level 40. At level 50, I think it's cemented at number 4 for the rock type. And then, speaking of level 50, I mean, we got enough for like 3 level 50 Gigaliths, which is absolutely crazy. Between the mega bonus for my max mega Aerodactyl and the throw bonus and everything like that, absolutely crazy. Today was a lot of fun, and we got a lot of Stardust because we 50 maxed the Aggron, and we have 150k already again. So that's super cool. And that's going to be it for today's episode. If you did like it, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. If you're enjoying the series, please subscribe. Also, leave a RIP Kartana in the comment section below. F in the chat, man. Anyways, God bless, and see you in another episode of Pokemon Go.